Hello and welcome to 360 Gamercast, episode 158 for Tuesday, the 28th of March, 2023. I'm your host, Mark Webb, gamertag Pearson ID, Steam ID, Webby360G, and joining me on this very fine evening is...
What are you buying? It's Sly Armored.
Un forastero is Sensei Switch.
I've no idea what half of those references are from, but good times. I know that what you're buying's from from Resident Evil, but don't know, no idea what Darren's on about.
Same game.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
One of many random things shouted at you by the angry locals.
I don't listen to him. I just shoot him in the head. Hey.
Oh, okay. Good times. So this week, brand new games come out. Well, not brand new. It's the remake of Resident Evil 4. One of the Resident Evil games. Actually, I think it's the only Resident Evil game that I've played and never finished. Even though I was looking through my Resident Evil games on Steam, and there is actually a few other ones that I've not finished or even played, and those are the Revelations. Have you played those ones, the Revelations? You had Revelations and Revelations 2.
I played the first Revelations up to the annoying boss that used to go, Mayday, Mayday. Everyone's probably like, yeah, I know exactly what he's on about. It was on the ship really early on. It was on the 3DS, wasn't it?
Yeah, because it was like wasn't it in like bits? You could buy like chapters of it or something.
Yes,
like
it was sold in piecemeal. Well, the 3DS version was fine, but I think when it came to console, there was like all this DLC and other bits, and it installed the games very strange.
Right. Okay.
I've got the second one. I think it's on the PlayStation, the Xbox One.
Right.
Revelations 2, was it? With like Barry Burton's daughter or something.
Right, I don't know, because I've not actually played them. I own them both. I think I must have got them on a Humble Bundle, but I never played them. But I was looking through my Resident Evils, and I've played all of them, like from Zero, Veronica, all the other Resident Evils. But this is one of the ones that has eluded me completing. So
the greatest game of the.
Well, that's what a lot of people say, but I don't know. So I started playing the remake. I'm not actually very far in, actually. I've actually got, even though I have got further than what I ever did in the original, which is out of that first village bit with the chainsaw man. So I've gone further already, which is great. But I've not gone very far, so I can't really make a lot of comments on it because I haven't got very far. And this is one of the downsides to having young children. So the downside of getting older is you're tired all the fucking time. So because I like so I like gaming in the day, but obviously games like that I can't play in the day because of my kids. And then it comes to the evenings and I just want to chill out and watch Netflix, then go to bed early. So I've not actually had much opportunity to play it. I was actually at Alton Towers first day on Friday as well. So obviously the game came out Friday. Got home from Alton Towers Friday night about 7:30. I was so tired. I went to bed about 10, so I didn't play anything. I just wanted to watch a bit of TV. And then Saturday, didn't do really any gaming because, again, I was still tired from the 2 days at Alton Towers. And just watched a bit of Netflix again. So I just played a little bit today. But we didn't talk about the demo last week. So the demo came out about a week or two ago,
wasn't it?
Yeah, so that was basically the beginning of the game anyway, that first bit.
All right, I want to bitch about something.
Go on.
All right, I want to bitch about the demo and the main game. There's a difference between them in that first section. So someone figured out in the demo, if you dumped all your inventory and your ammo out before walking in the village gates...
That was obviously a demo thing only.
Was it? Yes. I thought it was going to be a little Easter egg for the game. All right, but you know what I'm talking about. The TMPs under the well. Like, if you empty your ammo out, the covers on top of the wells are gone. You can climb down, and there's an SMG under there. But in the main game, I tried that, and of course, the well stayed closed.
So did you restart, or?
Yeah, I loaded back.
Yeah.
I loaded back to the typewriter. It's all right. I lost like 2 minutes. It's not a big deal.
Okay. But so I'm playing on PC. I'm guessing, Darren, you're playing on PlayStation?
Yeah, wait for the older VR mode or whatever it is they're adding to it as well.
Oh, they're doing that, are they? Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Well, they're adding something VR, whether that's going to be just mercenaries or whatnot. Because whatever it is, it's got to be doable in first person, and redoing the whole game in first person would be quite an undertaking for literally just an additional feature for one system.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, so I've got it on PC, and I bought it on the PC just because it was 35 quid on CD keys for PC, whereas consoles like 55, 60 or whatever. So I got it on there just because it was cheaper, and I'm really impressed actually with the graphics. It runs really well. So with the full ray tracing, not even having DLSS on and all that, it runs very, very well. It's probably one of the best running games with ray tracing on, actually, that I've played on PC. So that's really positive. And I believe they've improved the controls from the original game as well. It feels very smooth.
Oh yeah, well, in the original, when you used to aim or bring your shoulders up to aim, you couldn't move. You could literally aim your gun, but you couldn't move side to side or anything like that.
Like
you were
tank
rooted
controls,
to the spot.
pretty much. Yeah. Oh, well, there you go then. Yeah, so they've improved that. Obviously, like, it's in the new Resident Evil engine, so it looks really, really nice. Gameplay wise, I mean, I've only got an initial impression from the beginning, so I can't really give too much. It's just a little bit. I find that beginning bit in the village just a little bit annoying if you don't know what's coming up, because you just got to survive until a cutscene pops up. So if you don't know that, you're just running around like a headless chicken until bits happen. So you got to run to a certain part of the village for the chainsaw man to appear, and then you just got to survive for a certain amount of time until this cutscene appears. Yeah, so just a heads up for people who might find that bit a bit frustrating. Yeah.
I've got another heads up for people.
Yeah.
If you buy the Uber edition and you get your extra, like the treasure map that comes with it, buy the additional treasure map from the merchant when you get to him, because I assumed my map already had all the stuff on it.
Oh no!
And I literally got the treasure map from him just before the point in the game where I'm now on the move with Eagle 1 or Condor 1 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I basically noticed there was a ton of treasures on that map that I got off him from places I could not go back to and access.
Oh, no.
No, you didn't warn me. You'd warned me too late.
Well,
I've left that area.
I'm giving this game multiple playthroughs anyway, so...
I think I will be too. I think I will be too.
That's one of the positives about the Resident Evil games. They are designed for multiple playthroughs, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could even say that as far back as the original, because there was unlockable weapons for basically speed running it and doing it with certain ratings, etc. Yeah,
because you normally could complete it and then it unlocks like a rocket launcher with infinite ammo for another playthrough or something. So that's really cool. I mean, what's your thoughts on it then? Because obviously you guys have played it a lot more than me, so I'm quite limited on what I can say about the game, and I've not played the original either. So I'm interested to know, one, how it compares to the original. So it'd probably be down to you, Darren, to give us that rundown. And secondly, just how the game is story-wise, how long it is at the minute, how much time you've put into it, the story, the combat, and all that sort of stuff.
I'll just say it's my current game of the year.
Ooh,
What? Wow.
Yeah.
I think it's above Hogwarts for me as well. I'll probably have to finish it first to make that decision, but
Wow.
it is pretty good. What chapter are you up to, Darren? I think I'm on chapter 9.
I have just left an area of the game where I was absolutely gutted. If you've played the game before, there's a part in the game where you're going to be in a place defending it against like hordes of enemies.
Yeah,
The amount of shit that was all over the floor that I was just going to pick up when a cutscene kicked in, and I looked it out of there.
Oh no!
That's
I
gutted.
know. Oh, I know exactly what section that is. That section was a pain in my ass. I got there eventually.
Yeah, so I'm at the save point just after all of that at the merchant.
Yeah, all right. I know where you're up to. Yeah, I'm on chapter 9.
Chapter 7, I think, or 6.
I think that's chapter. So I think that's the end of chapter 5. So I think it must be on chapter 6. So I think I'm a bit
technically takes part over 3 separate areas. You've got the village and then 2 others afterwards.
Yeah,
but I won't spoil the people.
I'm at the second place. It's good.
That's the place I'm not looking forward to, actually.
It's got a healthy mix of puzzles and combat. And they've still got the puzzles. They're not. Some of them have been a bit of a pain. The one
Is it not just 4, the typical fetch something and take it back somewhere like the usual?
Well, yeah, some of them. But there's one in chapter 4 where you have to sort of make an image, and that kind of sucked. I didn't enjoy that one. I'm not going to spoil what it was, but yeah, that was the puzzle that sort of stopped me for a solid 20 minutes while I sat there and dicked about with it till I got it. I don't know. I never played the originals. You'll probably be able to speak to it, but I think that the graphics look really good. I think the gameplay is solid. I think the combat's pretty good. I feel that the aiming's a little tight. I'm feeling like I might want to bump my sensitivity up or something, but I don't know. I'm just really enjoying it. I feel like there's no slow bits per se. I feel like everything's kind of moving all the time. I feel like I'm constantly doing something. There's not like a lot of dead air where you're just like wandering about. I feel like you're always
you can still do that if you want to. Yeah. If you're backtracking to pick stuff up that you've left, or
yeah, you can.
So say if you backtrack, do more kind of enemies appear?
Only if you've ticked a story part forward per se.
Right.
Then those areas you might go back to might be repopulated. Otherwise, it's generally clear.
I mean, I just find it odd because I remember when the game originally come out and a lot of fans are upset because it diverted from their traditional zombies, the slow moving zombies of the other Resident Evils, to like, they're not zombies really, are they? I'm not really sure what they could be classed as, to be honest. Just like fucked up people with red eyes. Yeah. So I'm guessing it's like another version of the virus that doesn't turn people into proper slow-moving zombies. It's like they're like just
sort of, yeah. There's a kind of cool, interesting story of what's actually gone on.
Okay.
Basically, it sort of stems down to like the T virus, I believe, was sort of like created from stuff that was found around this location.
Right. That's quite cool. Okay.
But for me, everything's like an upgrade, pretty much.
Yeah.
From the original. Bar, I'll say, the first real boss you fight.
Okay.
It doesn't look as intimidating as it did in the old one because they've changed the design of it a little bit.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's interesting that they've done design changes on bosses and stuff.
I think it's a step up from Resident Evil 3 Remake. I felt a bit ripped off with that one.
Well,
because
it's very
short. I blew through it in like 4 hours, and I was like, well, what the fuck?
So do we actually know how long 4 is? Because I've not had a definitive... I've not checked.
I don't know. I mean, you can kind of extrapolate it. I think in my play clock at the moment says 5 hours, and I'm on chapter 9, and there are 16 chapters. So I reckon 12, 13 hours, maybe.
That's quite long for a Resident Evil game.
I'm on about 7 hours to where I
Really?
am. Yeah.
Whoa.
Obviously,
might-
when you're given that open bit in another sort of vehicle you can travel around in, there's a lot of places you can go to that's optional.
I think I know what you are talking about, but I just did the kind of the bits you have to do.
So yeah, they've actually added on areas from the original game as well. So it's got like the original areas there, but they've also added sort of extra bits and places where you sort of traverse through to get to them.
I feel like a common complaint for 3 was that they chopped things out, right? Like there was like a clock tower that got cut out. I've never seen. Yeah, I haven't played. I think before. I'm trying to think of what games I've played. I think I've played a bit of 5, but never finished it. The first one I ever completed was 7. So and then I've done 7 Village, 2, 3, and now 4. Yeah. So I haven't played the old ones. So I guess I don't know what I'm missing if there is stuff that's not in it. But from what I've heard about 4, it seems like it's got, all the stuff from the original game and a little more, which is good.
Yeah, I was surprised to see that quite a few outlets gave this remake a 10 out of 10 as well. So, and it's very high praise for a remake of a game as well.
I mean, I'm having a great time with it.
Good, yeah.
Solid.
I mean, my initial impressions are very positive on it. I'm really looking forward to digging into it a bit more this week, to be honest. But yeah, good times.
I have heard they've made the you have to like accompany a character, you have to like supervise them, drag them around with you, and it's apparently a lot better than it was in the original. Apparently, in the original, they were a pain in the ass to deal with.
Oh, do you remember, like that's kind of an era where there was games with a lot of that type of quest, someone following escort missions, just a pain in the ass in games. I think
it is. There are sections where it is basically an escort mission, but you just like tell them to hide, or you can change their like run distance, so you can say stay close to me or stay the fuck back.
Okay.
So basically the game tells you as well. It gives you a little like pop up. It's like if you are trying to run past the enemies, get them to stay close to you. If you are trying to fight them, get them to stand away. It's very helpful in that regard.
All right.
So I'm just like, as soon as some enemies come up, I'm like, right, get back, get 10 feet back. I'm going to go fight them all.
Okay.
It's handy having that option.
So yeah, the music is exceptionally like eerie in the game as well.
Yeah.
There's parts of the game where it always feels like there's some big dude dragging a weapon behind him around, but there doesn't actually seem to be anyone there. But it does the job of keeping you on edge constantly.
So it's a lot more shootery than the last 2 games I've played, 2 and 3.
Well, that was a big departure from the standard Resident Evil style in 4. Yeah. Because the original games are very puzzle heavy, quite slow paced, lots of like slow moving zombies, whereas this is like all fast action paced. And I think, as I said earlier, that's where a lot of fans were really upset with 4 because it was such a departure from the traditional games.
Yeah, I was kind of going, I've got too much ammo, blow through all the enemies. And then at one point, I basically had no ammo, and I was like, this is a section where they want me to be a bit more clever. This is a section where they don't want me to tear through every enemy, where they want me to creep around a bit. So that's a new mechanic. Crouch wasn't in the original game, and now there's a crouch mechanic.
Okay. That's interesting.
Yeah, and you can stealth, and now the knife is like an upgradable weapon. I was going to say about the weapons, so you can tune your weapons up at the merchant. Now, he mentions to you one of the first times you go to him, if you get tired of the gun you're using, you can sell it to him with the upgrades, and you'll get nearly the full cost of the weapon back,
No, that's
including the upgrades you've slapped on it as well.
good.
So I sold my. So with the deluxe edition, you get a sawed-off shotgun and a handgun.
Okay.
I've ditched those now. I've got better guns, but they were good for the first hour or two.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Nice.
I liked.
There's more guns in this than there were in the original as well.
Yeah, the bolt thrower's a new one. I
Yes.
was looking up a differences list. It was like, yep, bolt thrower's a new one. That's kind of cool. I feel like the default bolt thrower is kind of shit, but when you put it you can attach a mine to it, that's when it's useful because you just shoot it into a crowd and then it blows up. It's very helpful. I look forward to finishing it. I'm going to finish it this week. I'm on
Something else that they've actually improved on as well is the shooting gallery.
Ah, yes, I went down there.
Which
that was
actually
fun.
Unlocks little charms and stuff that you can equip onto your attaché case that give you little perk bonuses.
Okay, that sounds really
like
good.
Like the one you start with,
bonus
I
gunpowder
think,
or whatever.
I think the one I started with gave me a bonus to pistol ammunition.
Yes. You got the deluxe edition, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so did I. One of them I think, is additional pistol ammo. You can find one later that I think increases your I think it might increase the health that green herbs restore. I'd have to look at it. But yeah, you can have 3 attachments on your case at once, and they're just like little key rings.
Okay.
Yeah.
They give you little bonuses, and you can earn them by getting tokens from the shooting range and finding them around the world, and then you put them into like a little capsule machine, and you just get random capsules out of them.
Do you know if I can go back to the shooting range from the area that I'm at, or is there another way down there?
I think there's a few different ones in the game that I can remember.
Yeah, I was a bit worried because I was down there for a bit, but I didn't get gold on everything or whatever, and I was like, shit. I was like, can I come back here later? It's fun though. You shoot little like standees of pirates. Shoot the pirates, don't shoot the sailors. No, I'm very much enjoying myself.
Cool. Well, I'm glad you're both enjoying it. I really enjoyed my initial impressions of it. Is there anything else that stands out to you before we move on?
I think we covered it.
Yeah.
Really well made. It's almost like they know that this is one of their most beloved games.
Yeah,
in the franchise.
They did a really good job with 2 as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, guys. Well, we'll catch up on Resident Evil 4 in a couple of weeks. And then we'll move on to Sly now on what you've been playing.
Are we going to do the thing where we swap back and forth after each game?
Yep.
Okay, let me cross off Resident Evil. So let's start with Midnight Suns. So this week, they stealth dropped their 3rd of 4 expansions, the Morbius DLC. It's Morbin time.
Ooh.
It's Morbin time. He doesn't say that very sadly. I was really hoping they just put it in there, but they didn't. So yeah, there's this like overarching story with the DLC packs. You play them all in a row, they form like a side story. So I'm looking forward to sort of playing part 4 next month when they release Storm from the X-Men. Didn't realize this one was Morbius. I thought the last one was going to be Morbius. I thought this one was going to be Storm. So it was a pleasant surprise when it dropped on Wednesday. So I played it. He's got some cool abilities because obviously he's the living vampire. So he's got like claw attacks and other shit. But he's really well voiced. He's not a meme. He's not played by Jared Leto. So he's actually just like a good addition to the roster. But I think one of the benefits of these packs is they can add characters that weren't in the base game, and they all get unique abilities. but they also get like fully voiced dialogue. They get like friendship systems with the other heroes in your main character, and they all just like, it feels like they were in the game from the start, which is nice. But yeah, they're not too long, these packs. You get like 3 main story missions per pack, and then but across the 4, that makes 12 missions that tells this side story. It's, without getting too far into spoilers, because I know a few people in the community have messaged me in the last couple of weeks to say, hey, thanks for talking about Midnight Suns so much. I've gone and played it now. So you're welcome. I won't spoil it, but it's about the vampires, and they're kind of like uprising, and Hydra's kind of trying to manipulate the vampires and create a virus that'll make more vampires. So Morbius is, well, he's not a fan of that idea. So he joins the Avengers, and they're going to try and take down all the vampires and the person that is creating more vampires, shall I say. So I look forward to seeing how this wraps up in the 4th expansion. They've been doing like 1 a month, so there'll be 1 next month, which, like I said, Storm from X-Men. But yeah, I just love the combat on that, and I think I'll be picking it up on a different device very soon. But I will save that for later. So yeah, Morbius DLC. No, it's good fun. Like, if you like Midnight Suns, if you've liked the Venom DLC, the Deadpool DLC, you'll like this one. Just play it. It's great. Maybe took me about 3 hours, because you do like your side bits and your general missions, and then you do your 3 main story missions, and then you get to level up Morbius's like deck. You get to upgrade his cards. You give him more abilities. He has some cool ones though. He can just like go invisible. That's kind of fun. And he also has a meter called Bloodlust, and the higher his Bloodlust, like the kind of crazier he goes when he attacks the enemies, makes them bleed. And then that's like a persistent effect. Yeah, solid game. Really looking forward to the last expansion. And I hope they do sort of a season 2 pass with more heroes, but I don't know. I think they've done some good things. That's
nice,
it.
mate.
It's Morbid time.
Nice. Cool. Darren.
I might as well stick with the old superhero kind of stuff. I did start ever so briefly Gotham Knights.
Oh, okay.
Tell me more.
Picked up reasonably cheap.
Is that online co-op, that one, or?
Yeah,
yes.
4 player.
Oh, okay.
Well, one of the modes is 4 player. I think the actual story mode stuff is just 2 player co-op, maybe.
Is it cross-play or not?
I'm not honestly too sure, to be honest.
Okay, I'll have a look in a minute. See. Okay.
But
anyway, tell us about it.
This obviously got a lot of stick when it was released, because it released sort of not particularly well optimized for next gen consoles. So it does unfortunately only run at 30 FPS, which you do notice a lot when you're like moving the camera around and such.
Ooh.
But it's kind of a shame, because there's parts of the game I find actually quite enjoyable. So you basically choose as one of 4 characters: Red Hood, Batgirl, Nightwing, and Robin.
Mm-hmm.
All with their own little sort of side stories and stuff that's going on. In this sort of like game, Batman has died, and you guys are out there trying to uncover the mystery as to what happened.
Okay.
You go out into the city at night to do what's known as patrols. There's like plenty of pickups and things to find as well, such as like batarangs and graffiti and such to find, which gives you XP, and there's like crafting involved as well, so you can craft like new outfits. I think there's something like 15 or 16 different outfit variations for each character, and you can get like color palette changes and things like that for them as well, so there's pretty good customization there. When you go out on the night on the patrols, you basically have these sort of crimes that are happening around the city, which you go and stop. Some of them are just like a standard like stick up or someone trying to break into a building, but others are actually proper crimes where like there's survivors with bombs strapped to them, which is pretty annoying, because as soon as you get spotted they start setting them off. So you've got like a time limit to try and defuse the bombs before they go off. Other ones where they're like robbing a building and you've got to try and stop the robbers stealing all the money out. Every time you complete some of these, you gather evidence, which then gets added to like your sort of special sort of crime board at the end of the day, and then that will give you more crimes that you know about the following night, and it will mark them up for you. On your map. You've got obviously your story missions and things like that with various characters. Like Harley Quinn I've dealt with. I think Mr. Freeze is in the game, and Clayface as well, possibly a few others. But
someone was telling me Alice in the Wonderland gang are in it.
All right.
Is that maybe not up to that yet?
Possibly not. I mean, there's different factions at the moment. I've only got sort of like the freaks and the mob that seem to be the ones that are sort of running around the city. But it's graphically nice. I'd say it lacks the detail of the previous Arkham games, but it still looks visually nice because the game is obviously 4K HDR, ray tracing and all that. Hence why it's only 30 FPS, because they didn't give you really any toggling options due to the engine and the decisions they made, because it's another one of those where you can one of you can be at one part of the map and then your co-op partner can be like right over the other end of the map.
Right. Oh, okay.
Without there being any limitations, if you can only move X amount between people. So at the start, I was traversing around the city with like a grappling hook, which you can fire up onto the corners of buildings to fire yourself up. While you're flying up, you can push a button to jump again at the peak of your jump and then latch another grappling hook off. So you're kind of a bit Spider-Man-y at that point. But then you'll do like a couple of these little side quest challenges and you unlock something known as Knighthood, which basically gives your character the gliding ability, which is more akin to sort of Batman, where you can go up onto a high position, jump off and like glide down and land on people. It's got some really cool sort of like takedowns and finishers and all that kind of stuff you expect from those games, where you like grab someone's head and smash them off the bonnet of a car or something and then knee them in the face. You can also interrogate people by grabbing them as well on the streets after you've beaten their health down to a certain degree, and that will give you more information on the crimes ahead as well. But
has it actually got a story, Darren, or is it like just dailies and all this sorts?
No, it's got a story that goes through it. As far as I know, there's no microtransactions in the game whatsoever. Apart from the stuff that came with the extra edition, which is just basically extra outfits, which you can either wear or transmog over the outfit you're currently wearing.
Yeah. Okay.
Would I recommend it at full price? Probably not. But if you can pick it up for around 20-25 quid, you'll probably have a bit of fun with it.
It goes on sale pretty often. I've seen it on sale. I nearly bought it this week, actually.
I mean, if you got it on PC, you'll be able to get the 60 FPS and stuff.
Yeah, I wouldn't buy it on console. I'm an FPS snob.
It was just the fact I saw it for like 20 quid, like for the deluxe edition with all the other extra shit.
That is good,
I was like, I'll have that.
I've seen some of those outfits. They actually are quite good.
Yeah, that's what I was like. I was like, no, they look pretty fucking good, those costumes, actually. I think they're costumes, aren't they? Who's like one of the DC artists.
Yes. Yeah, I was thinking, I want to get it. I've been interested in it since it came out, and now I've heard they've like patched it up and it runs especially quite well on PC. Apparently it was kind of poorly optimized at launch, but now it works really well. They've added some extra bits in. Obviously it goes on sale quite a bit because it did sell a lot at launch, so they're trying to move some units, which is fine. But I want to play it in co-op.
There's no cross-play.
More enjoyable way. No cross-play. Well, I have to play it with someone else who has it on PC then.
Friends.
Webby.
I've Well, just wait, mate. I mean, I've spent a
When it
lot of
goes
money
on
on
sale.
games recently.
Yeah, you've spent a lot of money.
Well, when my redundancy money comes through next month, I'll probably have a little bit of a spending spree. But at the minute, there's too much to play in it as it is anyway.
It's all right. I've got plenty to be playing at the moment. But yeah, next time it goes on sale for a good discount, I think we should both get it. We should play it.
That'd be good. Yeah.
Because I didn't mention it, but we did finish Gears. I like playing co-op. We should do more.
Yeah, we finished Gears. I'm just probably moving ahead, but yeah, we finished that, and that was a lot of fun. Playing in co-op, even though you know, the remake's quite old now, but yeah, it was good.
I just think we need more co-op games. And from what I've heard from my friend who's played Gotham Knights, he says it'd be a good one to play in co-op. And he says it's pretty fun, like combining your abilities or whatever with your other heroes.
For sure.
Yeah, you've got like the typical challenges and stuff you can access via a computer to sort of take you through training differences when you unlock new abilities and powers and such. It does miss the classic Arkham combat though, of like the counter attack kind of thing. So there's no it hasn't got like the little lightning bar when someone's about to strike you and you push like dodge and he'll counter it kind of thing. It's more of a you just dodge out the way with B.
Okay.
Cool.
I've had my eye on it for a while. I nearly bought it like the other week, but
I bought that bloody because we did the PlayStation episode last week, and my copy of Nier turned up the other day, Darren, as well.
Oh, nice.
So I got that to play too.
What, the first one?
Yeah, they remade it. So yeah.
Did they?
Yes.
Wait, what are you saying Neo, or are you saying like Nier Automata?
Nier.
Nier, like Automata, that one?
Yeah.
The original one.
Yeah, the OG.
I see. Neo, I get confused.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Anything else you wanted to say on that game, Darren?
No, that's fine. Like I said, I've only scratched the surface, played it for like 2-3 hours.
Okay. All right, so it's my turn then. So I've been putting a lot of hours into Persona 4 Golden. This game just doesn't want to end. I think I read online it's about 80 odd hours. So I think I'm only about halfway through. So I've done about 30 or 40 hours now. Absolutely loving it. I've gone a lot further than I ever did on the Vita, which is really, really good. I've got a couple of my characters maxed out on the old friendship scale. I've got a girlfriend in the game as well. Check me out. Whoop whoop. I'm just absolutely loving it. Apart from the I think the only thing that lets the game down is just the dungeons, and I know that's quite weird to say because that's where all the combat is in the game, but I would have been quite happy if it was just all the other stuff in the game, just plodding around town, doing your stuff every day, building up your relationships, and just seeing the story unfold, really, because it is quite a chill game when you're not in the dungeons. Because the problem with it is the dungeons can take quite a long time, and there's no way of saving your game when you're in the dungeons either. So you've got to make sure you've got about an hour or so to get the dungeon done without, any interruptions, which is a little bit annoying. But it is a game that I've always wanted to finish, and I never finished it on the Vita all those years ago. So I'm very pleased it's on Game Pass, and I'm now having that opportunity. There's not a lot else I can say on it, really, because if you know about it, you're gonna love it. It's great. If you're not really into RPGs like that, then you're not gonna give a toss. But I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it. Some of the storylines are just absolutely wacky and crazy, which is really, really cool. Some of the really cool and crazy characters you meet along the way and become part of your posse. I'm loving it.
About I played about 6 hours of it on the Vita about 4 years ago. Because my
Wow.
friends, for one of my birthdays, they bought me a secondhand Vita and a copy of Persona.
Oh, nice.
And then, and then I never finished it. I might have played about 10 hours. I played a decent amount.
Yeah.
And I kind of dropped off. And now I'm like, oh, well, I don't really want to pick it up on the Vita again because it's on Game Pass. Like, I can get
Yeah.
Chivos and I can
Yeah.
play it on my big screen or on my computer.
Yeah.
So I think I'm going to start it over. I wasn't very far in anyway. Yeah, I think I'm gonna give that a crack. I just need to clear some games out the backlog first. It's in there, but I'm gonna play it.
I think the problem with it is because it's such a long game.
Yeah,
you need to dedicate some time to it. Even though I am playing quite a lot of other games as well, and I am not having really much of a struggle like dipping back into it. So if I have like a week out, I'm finding myself just getting back into it quite easily because a lot of the days they're kind of samey. Like when you're in that those sections of the game where you're waiting for things to happen. So you've done a dungeon and it's like, whoa, you've just got to pass the days until that person's recovered or whatever, So because the whole game is like this big murder mystery, and it's just really, I don't know, like when I'm playing it, I just want to know like who's behind it, what's going on, because it is just really, really weird. Because it's basically, for those people that haven't played it, basically there's this thing called the Midnight Channel. So at midnight, you turn on your TV and someone appears on this channel if they're going to be murdered. And then your crew basically go into the TV world and fight their kind of persona, which is kind of their the side of them that they don't like. That's the way that I can put it. And then they have to face themselves, and it ends up being like a boss fight. It's quite interesting. So, yeah, I mean that's all I can say on it. Really, it's just a lot of fun. It's weird and wacky, very Japanese, as Colin would say. But it is my game at the minute, my big game that I'm trying to get done, and I'm just enjoying it because the good thing about Game Pass is I'm playing it on both my Xboxes, my PC, and my laptop, and the saves are just crossing between them very nicely. So yeah, it's good. Yeah, that's all I can say on it, really. Persona 4 Golden, get on it, bitches.
Yeah, I will.
Good man. Anyways, back to you now, Sly.
Oh, we're going to be a very short stop at me. Rainbow Six Siege, I bring it up every week. I think it's like my Fortnite Save the World, like that is for Darren. I think this has become my sort of mainstay game. Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege, new season came out a couple weeks ago, I mentioned it. Playing ranked now, I'm very kind of getting serious, trying to grind my rank up. I'm trying to reach gold rank, because I only have 2 trophies. I play it on PlayStation, but I got 2 trophies left on it, and one of them is reach gold rank, and I just hit silver last night. So getting there. It's the game my friend group plays. We've been playing it on and off since 2017. So yeah, a good couple years now.
Wow.
Yeah, and I feel like we've ramped up in the last year or two, playing it like pretty much like every other day. It's a great game. They keep making changes to it. They keep adding characters. They keep tweaking things. They keep, redoing old maps or putting new maps in. So there's still a lot of love for that game. Nearly finished my battle pass. It was double battle pass point weekend this weekend, and it stacks if you use a booster as well. So and it stacks to your teammates' boosters. So we all pop boosters, all 4 of us. And then it was double booster points as well. So we were going up like 2 levels on the battle pass every match. So going to be done in no time. I think I'm at tier 70 of 100, and there's like 60 days to go.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, love Rainbow Six Siege. I think it's got some of the best shooting in any kind of game. They've added maybe like 2 months ago. You can now sync your account across all your platforms. So I'm going to start playing it on the PC more now because I have all my characters and all my renown and stuff I've earned on the PlayStation version.
Okay.
Yeah. So it syncs across because if I wanted to play PC, I would have to have basically a blank account and start over.
Right.
But now I can. Now your battle pass and all your characters and everything you've earned and all your stats that carry across all 3 platforms, and it's cross-play between Xbox and PlayStation, but not PC.
Ugh, it's annoying, isn't it?
Oh no, because I don't want to die to mouse and keyboard players when playing on PlayStation. Thanks.
Fair enough.
They deployed a patch called Operation Mousetrap, designed to catch people using keyboard and mouse on console.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Operation Mousetrap. I thought it was a good name.
That's quite funny, yeah.
Yeah, I do feel like I've encountered less cheaters since that came out. I feel like it's been pretty chill. Yeah, Rainbow Six Siege. It's been out for years. If you haven't played it, play it. It's awesome.
Good times. Back to you then, Darren.
I might as well talk about one other game I've played briefly that I picked up super cheap. Watch Dogs Legion.
What?
Ooh.
Bloody hell, mate.
I bought this a couple months ago on sale.
Wow. It's a good game,
about
mate.
5 hours.
Would you say it was worth £6?
Bloody hell! What system did you get it on?
I think I paid
Xbox.
about $15. So yeah, I got it on Xbox too.
Series X. Wow.
Yeah, Series X Resistance Edition. So it came with like a little bonus thing as well.
Ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, so I've only played it for roughly about 2 hours. It's definitely the least polished out of most of the Ubisoft games I've played, if that makes any sense.
Right.
Yeah.
But the frame rate occasionally seems a bit iffy. The driving is atrocious.
Well, yeah.
But isn't that just a thing for Watch Dogs games? The driving is generally supposed to be a bit shit in those.
Yeah.
I remember the original Watch Dogs. I skipped the second one. But I was just intrigued because I thought, £6. I'd like to see what it's like driving around parts of London I recognise and know.
Yeah.
Which I haven't fully done yet. It kind of reminds me of like a fever dream for the Twitter people. Because everyone's angry and wants to revolt and it's all about down with the system and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Which I know it's like the story per se, and it's exceedingly British.
Mm-hmm.
Like, all right, geez, yeah, bruv, yeah, and all that kind of stuff. All of that is definitely in there. But graphically, it's nice. The pickups that you get, like the radio station things you can find on the headphones.
Yeah.
They go on for freaking ever.
I know, yeah.
I'll sort of pick one up and it was just like, I'm sort of sat there 2-3 minutes later and I was like, is this still going? Is this still going? But I like the way you can apparently almost recruit anyone in the game.
Yeah, that is a cool feature, yeah.
You can recruit pretty much any NPC, yeah.
Yeah, look at them and then you can like profile them and then set a little mission up to see if you want to recruit them or mark them up to maybe recruit later.
Because people have their like specialties. So you like if you one mission, I think it's fairly early on. You need a construction worker to get into a construction site. So you have to like go and like find basically an exploit, like something you can blackmail them or a cause they're excited about that you want to help them with or something. But yeah, that's how you have to like get people with different skill sets on your team, like construction people, fast drivers, like shooters.
I like getting the grannies.
Yeah.
Always good for a laugh.
You can there's these drones you can hack and you can ride on top of them. That's fun.
Yeah,
I like doing that.
See, I got it when it came out, right? And people were bitching about it, but because I got it on PC, I thought it looked and just ran really, really well. especially with the ray tracing. It's probably one of the best implementations of ray tracing I've seen in a game, like with all the reflections in the windows, especially and mirrors and stuff. It just looked so good when I played it.
Yeah, there are obviously
Yeah.
certain games that sort of like it kind of looks a lot better in certain things than others. It was like, I can't remember what it was. I know it was it. They did a patch, didn't they, this week for ray tracing
Elden
on
Ring.
Bloodborne, on Elden
Oh,
Ring.
is that
Sorry.
Elden Ring?
And my mate turned it on, and he was just like, "It doesn't really look that much better." And I
Yeah.
agreed with him. It didn't.
Yeah, sometimes it's not an improvement at all, is it?
I said the games that are really going to sort of notice it is things like Cyberpunk, where you've got all like the neon lights,
Yeah,
and puddles
yeah,
and stuff like that all over the place.
yep, definitely.
So I did read about the Elden Ring thing this week, and apparently this might not have been the case for your mate, but people were turning it on, but to activate it, you're supposed to go back to the main menu and then back into the game again. And apparently, people on Twitter didn't realize that because it wasn't clearly communicated. So people were turning the setting on and going, "It looks the same." Yeah, because you had to reboot to menu and then back in again. Don't know if that was what happened to your mate, Darren, but
He just did it from the menu straight off.
Yeah,
because
okay,
I told him where to go to find it.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd definitely say it was worth £6 anyway.
Yeah, it's good, mate. Yeah,
for a little bit. I think it's currently on sale. I think it's currently on sale on Xbox at the moment for like $11.99 anyway.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I don't think I paid much more than that for it. I got it sort of over Christmas on sale. I would like to go back to it. Even if I don't try and finish the story, even if I just dick about in the world, it's kind of fun to fly the drone around.
That's it. I just thought, like, even if I just drive around the London itself and just muck about clothes shopping and stuff like that, it will still be entertaining. I'll get my £6 worth anyway.
Yeah, man, for sure. No. I mean, I think it's a good game. I think it got unduly slated when it came out because I really enjoyed it. To be honest,
I think it's criminal that you skipped the second one. By the way, because I think Watch Dogs 2 is fantastic. No, Darren skipped Watch Dogs 2.
Oh.
I didn't particularly like the original Watch Dogs.
The second one is so much better.
Yeah.
The second one's in San Francisco. Yeah, they just took all the bad bits.
Apple and stuff.
They took all the bad bits out. Oh yeah, Silicon Valley, all that.
Yeah.
It's also FPS boosted on Series X, so you can play it at 60 FPS.
Nice.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like Watch Dogs 2. I liked it a lot. Probably my favourite of the three.
Nice. Is it back to me again?
Yep.
So, okay, I'm going to talk about two games because I just want to briefly mention. Been playing quite a lot of Call of Duty still. Not sure if I'm going to finish the Battle Pass this time around because I'm only 67% through, and I think it runs out in like three weeks. So that's a little bit annoying, but still enjoying it. There has had an update where there is a second raid on there now, but I haven't had a chance to do it. So Peebs is back from Thailand this week, so I might try and get him and Gavin for some raid action on that. So we shall see. Anyway, moving on. I did start another game this past week. I know I've got so many games on the go. Alan Wake Remaster. So, and the reason I'm playing it is because it was on sale recently on the Xbox Digital Store, really cheap, and I use me Bing points. And I'm really enjoying playing through it again. I'm on just finished chapter 4, and yeah, I mean, I remember when it originally came out. I still remember the fateful day, right? I went into game, remember going into shops and buying games, and bought the collector's edition of the original, and it came out the same day as Red Dead Redemption. So whenever Alan Wake originally come out, it didn't actually sell very well because obviously everyone was buying Red Dead Redemption. I still remember going into game and asking for the collector's edition of Alan Wake, and the dude in the shop in the game shop was like, "Oh, I was sure you'd want a copy of Red Dead Redemption, and I was like, nah, Alan Wake, baby, because I'd been reading up about it, and he was just like, oh, well, we haven't sold very many of those today. But it's really good playing through it again. I mean, it's not. I mean, as a remaster, I don't think they've put a lot of effort into it, to be honest, because all the cutscenes are in their original resolution. You can really tell that, and the actual game itself, I think all they've done is just give it an up-res, and that's about it, because it feels quite a little bit dated in the animation and some of the gameplay mechanics compared to what we're used to today. However, it's such a fun game. I'm just absolutely loving it. The story is so good. I'm really enjoying the gameplay, apart from the fact, he's the most unfit bloke in the world, because, he runs for about 10 seconds and then he's out of breath and he's fucking limping around.
Yeah, he like doubles over, he puts his hands on his knees and he's like breathing. He's like,
yeah. And I'm like, fucking hell, I mean, I'm not, I'm more overweight than him by quite a long shot, and I can run for longer than that. As I'm just like, fucking hell, Alan, sort it out, mate. But yeah, I mean, it is a lot of fun. The game's longer than what I remember, actually, as well. I just remember it being a bit shorter than what it is, but I feel like, because I'm doing like kind of like an episode / chapter a day when I'm playing it in the evening, and a couple of them are taking me about 2 hours each. So, it's not super short. However, I mean, I am following a guide to get all the collectibles, because this game is very heavy with the collectibles. And because I've completed it 3 times before, I don't feel like I really need to play it, without a guide to get the story, because obviously I know the story anyway. But yeah, it's a great game, man. Loving it. What are you saying, Darren?
Oh, I just said, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, if you've never played it, I highly recommend giving it a go, because it is such an underrated game, in my opinion. And Alan Wake 2's out this year as well, so it's a perfect time to play it. To be honest, and it is really, really cheap as well now. To get the remaster as well. So
I think we've said it a few times, but does anyone else feel like this year is going to be a really good year for games?
Really good year for remasters.
Based on what we've had so far, we've had Hogwarts, we've had Resident Evil 4. Then later in the year we got Starfield, Alan Wake, Spider-Man. Oh my god, what a year!
Yeah,
it's gonna be. I can feel it. Last year,
next month we Switch people.
Yeah.
I hope people have fun with that. I never finished the first one.
Well, it's because you're mental.
The weapons kept breaking.
Mate, find some more.
Just, I'm not good. Although I might play it on something that'll get me more than 30 FPS on it.
Well, talk about it now. Come on.
Oh, I've been teasing it, haven't I?
Go for it.
All right. I may or may... No, I did. I bought a Steam Deck yesterday. It should arrive this week.
It's actually out in Australia now.
No, I did a grey market import.
Oh, okay.
Yep. You can buy it through Dick Smith, who are owned by Kogan. So Kogan acquire them from the US and then send them here, and they live in a warehouse. Dick Smith is an Australian retailer. They no longer have any brick and mortar stores. They are just an online retailer backed by Kogan now. But yeah, so I bought a Steam Deck. I bought the 512 gigabyte model with the anti-glare screen. I'm not putting a screen protector on it. It's got tempered glass or whatever. I'm fine. You know what? The screen replacement's $100. If I break it, I'll put a new one on. Whatever. Fuck it. Screen protectorless.
So I know. What made you get it though? Because
all right. So Yeah, so I wasn't going to get it because I think, like you, I didn't have a reason to, in that, I've got a very nice PC here, and I don't really have a commute. But what has happened is some point later in the year, I will be doing 3 months in a different city without all my stuff.
Oh,
So, yeah, you can see why I got it now, right?
yeah.
Yeah, so you can use it functionally as a laptop. You can install Plex, Netflix on it, whatever. All the apps. But also you can use it as a gaming machine, which is its primary purpose. So yeah, if I'm going to be without my consoles for 3 months, yeah, it's also might be September through November that I'm sort of away. So of course Starfield's fucking out then, isn't it? So I think I might be playing Starfield on the Steam Deck.
So you
That's
might
okay.
so the only problem with that is you can't play your Game Pass games on it, can you? So you're gonna have to buy the game on Steam.
Now, au contraire, Monsieur Webb.
Go for it. Tell me I'm wrong then.
You can dual boot Windows onto it.
Yeah.
You can install Windows onto like a micro SD card,
Okay.
or onto, I think you can partition the hard drive itself, but you can dual boot Windows. You can install the Microsoft Store app for Game Pass for PC games, and then you can install your Game Pass for PC games on there.
Oh, nice.
If that works, I will be getting Starfield through my Game Pass sub. If that doesn't work for whatever reason, I will just take it on the chin and buy Starfield on Steam. And it syncs to your Xbox account anyway, so I'll still get Chivos and stuff. But yeah, so things I'm excited about doing. So things things I've bought for it so far. So I bought a 1 terabyte micro SD card. So now I have 1.5 terabytes of storage, 500 internal, and 1 terabyte micro SD. And I bought myself a dock for the TV.
Nice.
Not that I think I'll use it at home on the dock, but when I go on I got a couple trips this year, and then a sort of a bigger trip near the end of the year. It'll be good for just taking the dock with me. It's only a little like USB hub thing, just about the same size as the Switch dock.
Yeah.
And that'll let me plug it into the TV. I made sure to get one that can output 60 hertz as well, so that'd be good. Yeah, quite excited for it to arrive. I did buy a few games on Steam, sort of just cheap games. Because there was the Steam. They flipped the seasons. It would have been the spring sale, but I think it's autumn here sale. That just finished, and I didn't really buy too much, but there's a couple sales on this week. So I bought 3 games. They're going to seem a little random, but they were cheap and they run great on Steam Deck. I purchased Sleeping Dogs Definitive Edition with all DLC for $5.
Sleeping Dogs.
For $5. Never played Sleeping Dogs, so looking forward to playing it. Yep. I bought Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order Deluxe Edition for $5.
Wow.
So I never actually finished Fallen Order, so I'm going to give it a crack on the deck and see if I can finish it before Survivor comes out next month. And I bought a game called Celeste for $4 or $5. Is it any good? It says you've played it for 6 hours.
It's okay. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah. So the good thing about the Steam library is it does a check for you as to whether certain games can be played on Steam Deck. So I own about 520 games on Steam, mostly through like Humble Bundles and shit, right? So Steam Deck Verified is a category that means Valve has gone in and physically done like rigorous testing on the game to make sure it works on the deck. And then there's Steam Deck Verified and Playable, which is playable means someone has gone and tested it, but it's not officially vetted by Valve, but it can be played and it's been documented. So I have about 520 games. Steam Deck Verified, I've got 126 games. Steam Deck Verified and Playable, I have 398 games. So, that's, 400 out of my 500 games can be played on Steam Deck. So that's pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can also So there's a launcher called Heroic Launcher, which lets you download GOG and Epic Games Store games as well. And you don't have to do anything
nice.
fancy. You don't have to dual boot Windows or anything to do that. That's just on the store. So all those free games I get from Epic and GOG and from Twitch Prime and all the Humble Bundles, I am
That's
going to
really
have
good.
so many games to play on this thing. I look forward to coming back on in like a couple weeks with a bit of a review. But from everything I've seen online and doing my research, it
Yeah.
looks fantastic. I saw someone run Resident Evil Remake on it, and it looked pretty good.
Yeah, I mean,
So I'll probably give
it's a
that
good
bash.
bit of kit. I mean, it runs Cyberpunk really well and various other games as well. So,
Yeah, you
yeah.
know what game I'd be quite excited to sort of finish on it because I haven't played it in a while certainly since I moved. I'm
Hmm.
going to try and finish Crisis Core on it.
Oh, for sure, man.
Yeah, I got stuck on a boss and then I moved. So it's been sat there because I bought it on PC, didn't I? So
Yeah.
I'm going to try and finish Crisis Core. Yeah, a couple games off the top of my head I want to give a bash on it. Crisis Core, probably give Resident Evil Remake a go just because it's something new and I've got it. Probably give Witcher 3 a bash on it. What else? Oh, I'll probably get Midnight Suns when it goes on sale because it's a turn-based game and I think that'd be perfect for it. Gonna give Persona 4 Golden a go on it because I feel like it's well
Yeah.
suited to a handheld. So if I can get my Game Pass for PC going on the dual boot, I'll download it. Otherwise, you can do the cloud streaming through it, and I don't think it would be god awful, especially at 720p, 800p, or whatever it ends up being.
Yeah.
And especially for a turn-based game. So I'll probably give the cloud streaming a bash for Persona 4 Golden, which is good. That means I can get my still get my Chivos,
Nice.
because it's all linked. Yeah. So yeah, I don't have it yet, so I can't speak to how good it is. But from everything I've seen in my research, it runs the new games like at a decent low to medium settings. And older games, obviously, it runs them just fine. So, looking forward to giving it a bash. It's something I've been thinking about buying for a while, and finally this week I got an excuse to get it. So, there's going to be 3 months into the end of the year where I'm not near my PC. I want to play stuff, so I bought it. I was quite happy when I bought it. It
Excellent,
felt
mate.
like a weight off my shoulders. You know when you're just itching for it, and you're itching, and you're being patient, and then you're like, "Fuck it," you know. It's a
Yeah, for
good feeling
sure.
when you're finally like, "I'm getting one. It's on the way."
Yeah, you've made the decision. That's
Oh,
good.
I don't think I'm going to be disappointed by it. Everything I've read, people love the Steam Deck. So.
Well, everyone I know that's got one has raved about it. So yeah,
Yeah,
I think you'll like it, mate.
I've got a couple flights. I've got a couple trips away from home. I've got an extended period away from home. So I've got time to test it on the road. And I haven't even mentioned what I'm gonna. The other thing I'm gonna do with it, I'm gonna load up a card with ROMs. I'm gonna emulate the shit out of some games. I'm very excited about it. There's
Yeah,
an
it
app
when it.
called MU Deck, and it
Yeah.
has all. I think, does it run Dolphin? I don't know. It has all the games in all the launches in the background, and it even integrates them into your like on deck Steam library, so you can launch them
Right.
through the Steam interface. So I'm thinking get some PS1 games, some DS games,
I've heard it runs
some Game
Switch
Boy
games
games.
well. Lols.
Yes. Oh, that's what I was saying before. That's what I was saying before. I was gonna get Breath of the Wild on it at an unlocked 60 FPS
Too right,
because
mate.
Breath of the Wild is locked at 30 and it makes it hard to play.
Yeah.
So I might give Breath of the Wild another bash at 60 FPS on my deck
Excellent.
with an Xbox controller because why not?
Got to be done.
Dock it on the dock, play it with an Xbox controller on my big TV.
Yeah.
That'd be
Cool,
fun.
man. No.
Yeah,
No, I'm glad,
I
mate.
will
It's
come
good.
back on in a couple of weeks and I will give my thoughts.
Excellent.
All right.
Excellent.
Darren, you want to talk about your game? Because I've just taken up a whole segment there.
Well, we might as well crack on and talk about the other 4 that people have been playing the past couple of weeks on and off. Diablo 4.
Oh,
Yes.
We talked about it ever so briefly. How have you found it, Webby, yourself?
Well, let me just say this. Day one purchase.
Ooh.
It's so good. Graphically, I'm very impressed with it. I didn't play it loads because I played the closed beta. I didn't even bother doing the open beta because I played it enough to make my decision. I like how
I know what you mean. I'm playing the
um,
open beta now as we record.
yeah, it's just because I know, I'd have to do it all over again, and I can't be fucked
No,
with
you
that.
can continue with your character from the closed beta.
What?
Yeah,
Oh,
they're all
fucking
still there. They're not wiping it until the end of this beta. So
no, but what I mean is, like, when you get the full game, you have to start again. Yeah,
yeah. I know what you
yeah.
mean. That's why I haven't progressed the story. I just did the requirements to unlock the extra little stuff for the game when it comes out, like the silly dog backpack and the titles. I
Okay.
think it's like one's for reaching the main city in the game, which I think the titles, and I think that the backpack was for hitting one of the characters getting to 20.
Right.
The closed beta gave you the warrior, the rogue, and the wizard to use.
Right.
And
Yeah.
in this one, all of the classes are unlocked to use. So you've got necromancer and druid
Hmm.
as well.
Oh, that's good.
I went with warrior
Yeah.
during the closed beta. I found it exceedingly fun, but at the same time kind of frustrating.
Right.
And a lot of the other people who played Warrior felt very similar about the frustrations I had.
Okay.
It's not a very mobile class. It's not particularly tanky either, which is kind of not really what Warriors usually are. It doesn't do a fantastic amount of damage either. Obviously, while you're fighting as the warrior, you're within melee range. And a lot of the fights in the game, the bosses chuck crap down by their feet
Right.
that does damage over time, and you're literally forced to stand in it to hit them because you're a close range fighter. You haven't really got any ranged abilities
Mm-hmm.
per se as a warrior. This time I've gone as the necromancer. Oh, on this class, I'm doing pretty much all the things we love doing with the necromancer in 3. I'm ripping blood out of enemies, turning their bodies into a skeleton army, and then making their corpses explode while
Nice.
throwing like vomit slowing dot puddles under big groups of enemies.
Yeah.
So it's just so much fun. There have been issues I ran into. There was a few dungeons. There was one part in, I think, 2 dungeons where my character hit an invisible wall
Oh, okay.
and they couldn't move past it. One of which was during a boss fight, so I only literally had half of the boss room to run around in because there was an invisible wall cutting off half of it, which was strange. I think these are things they'll be looked at.
Right. Okay.
And today, when I was using the Necromancer earlier on, whether it was the fact the servers were more packed or whatever, I don't know, but my skeletons were basically moving around at like 1 FPS.
Oh.
Like exceedingly janky and weird. Like myself and everyone else was moving fine, but my skeletons were just kind of juddering around like someone was like, they were disappearing and reappearing kind of thing while I was moving around, and I had to turn it off because it was doing my eyes in.
Oh, that's annoying.
I have heard from a lot of people that the wizard is probably the best class,
Okay.
and it's also got some of the highest survivability in the game, which is bizarre considering they're like robed classes, aren't they? You wouldn't really expect them to have much armor and be able to take as much damage.
Yeah.
But I suppose because they're kept out of range a fair bit, they can obviously deal with much. And there's apparently a lot of abilities and such that they've got access to that nullifies damage
Right.
to the point where during this beta, there's a random mob that can spawn in a few of the dungeons that you're in, which is the Butcher. which is like a character from some of the previous games, and he's basically designed to be a complete and utter tank bastard. And 9 times out of 10, if you actually see him in a dungeon, just run like fuck. Just get away from him, because he will. Even as a warrior, when I was decked out with like a load of legendary stuff, like he'd hammer my health down. Like one hit would take half my health.
Oh.
Or at least, and he's obviously sitting there spinning and cleaving and doing all this kind of stuff. So I was burning my way through all my healing potions pretty rapid. But presentation-wise, I think it looks fantastic. It runs nice and smooth, considering it's like always online. There's a little bit of juddering here and there when you're going into towns than the open world, where it's obviously loading you into the actual game world where a lot more other players are milling about. You've got like open area fates in some of these later zones as well, which is like a big ring. You go into it and you're tasked with, say, defending a convoy of survivors against like a monster attack, and then when you've done that, you'll get a boss turn up and you kill him, and you'll get like a chest that'll open up, giving you a lot of good stuff. They have said as well during this beta that the legendary drops have been increased by like 3 times as much.
Right, no, I can imagine, yeah,
Because
just to get people more gear for the testing
because
and
there's
that.
yeah, that's it. I mean, there's a lot of things on the legendary gear that actually makes certain abilities a lot better and more use having.
Right.
So it was like I had an ability called Shockwave Stomp, which I think was on the Berserker. So if anything gets close to you, you stamp down, everything falls down on the floor and basically struggles to get up for a while, which means you can get some hits in.
Yeah.
So I remember picking up a legendary, which when I did that Shockwave Stomp, an earthquake appeared underneath that would constantly hit them for damage while they're laying on the floor. So that's a no-brainer. You're like, yeah, I'm having that. Towards the end of the demo, I realised that you can then take that legendary item to someone and destroy it and take that ability off that item, which you can then sock it onto something else. So there's going to be some very, very interesting builds. I've heard it still lacks compared to like what Path of Exile has become, but it does seem like you get a lot of variation in the different abilities and other things. Only problem with this is you end up with like the metas, like you do with any game that's kind of online or whatnot, where people will just be like, oh, you need to use this build with this move, with these abilities to get the best out of the character, and then everyone does that, and then they'll nerf it. Because they don't want everyone sort of playing the same. But yeah, definite day one for me. It's going to be weird to see how they implement all of the actual online feature stuff to it. Like it's going to have a battle pass and stuff like that in it as well, from what I've heard, and obviously the public events, etc. You guys still there?
Yeah, I haven't played it. I don't really have anything to contribute.
All right, fair enough. Webby just went really quiet. That's all.
I've never played a Diablo game. I was talking to someone last night. Someone last night was like telling me all about it. Quite interested, and I also found out it runs on the Steam Deck, so I might give it a bash on the PC / the deck.
I mean, if you want to try to see what kind of game it's like, try Path of Exile. It's a free-to-play.
Yes, I'm very aware of Path of Exile. I talked to Bolo.
Oh, Bolo's married to it, isn't he?
That man, like Path of Exile 2 is confirmed. Hello.
Yes.
It's like Path of Exile 2's covered, and I'm like, are you going to take a break before 2? And he's like, no, I'm going to roll straight out of 1 into 2.
Yeah, sorry, I just had some mic issues, guys. So I was trying to talk, and yeah, I just had to do some messing around. I got
worried that I'd been disconnected. Like,
no, I've got some issues with my software. I've got some issues going on with my microphone software that I use to stop all the background noise and my coughing and things like that. So You're going to get a lot more background noise unless I restart my PC, which I can't be asked to do. So, yeah, so I played the beta, the Diablo 4 beta. And I just want to say, like, I know Darren's played it a lot more than me, but I was just very impressed with how it's all set up with the story, like with the cutscenes, like this devil woman or whatever it's called. Like she's like
Lilith.
yeah, and then she goes into the church, and how all the church goers like turn bad with just a few things that she says, and they kill the priest. It's all very gory.
Did you say Lilith?
Yeah.
Huh. She's the villain of Marvel's Midnight Suns as well.
Oh, there you go.
Interesting. We're
Just
leading
a
into
classic
mythology.
name that's usually either like vampiric or like succubus kind of thing. Type of name.
Yep.
One thing that always does me in with these games is obviously everyone in the game is fully superstitious and paranoid of monsters and basically scared for their lives every second of the day because they live in hell basically. And when you're a necromancer, you just bowl into town with an army of undead corpses following you around, and no one bats an eyelid.
Yeah, unethical.
Yeah, you sort of stood there going, "Oh, can I give you a hand, mate?" And they're like, "Yeah, no worries." A lot of people should be screaming and running to their houses.
Yeah.
One thing I found today, when I actually got my necro to the first main city hub, that's actually really awesome with the game, is as you're playing the game, you'll pick up different gear sets as you normally do, like different types of boots, hand wraps, armors, helmets, etc., weapons, you name it, you can pick it up. Well, you can take those items then to a smith who will destroy the items and basically give you that transmog look.
Oh, okay.
Now, when you've done that for one character, all of those items are basically the same across all characters, but they just look different on every character. So when I went in with my necromancer and went to the wardrobe to change my transmogs, I already had a shitload of transmogs unlocked from all of the stuff that my barbarian had broken down.
Okay.
Which I think is really cool.
So
it's almost like they don't have their own separate armors per se. They have their own separate look on the character, and obviously they'll have separate abilities based on the character that's picked it up. But for the visual aesthetic, it's the same across the board. So you'll only ever need to destroy one of them to be able to apply that transmog look to all of your classes, which I think's like pretty damn good. I've also heard from a developer interview that the type of gear that you pick up will vary depending on the region you're in, because there's apparently 4 or 5 regions.
Okay.
So the opening region is very like snowy and wintry, etc. So you get a lot of stuff with fur on it. Whereas if you picked that same item up again in, say, like the desert area, it's going to look different.
Okay.
Because obviously it wouldn't need all the fur and stuff on it because you're on a completely different like environment.
Yeah.
So that kind of gives every piece of gear as well different alternate looks depending on the region it's found in.
That's pretty cool.
I haven't bothered doing the world boss because I just imagined the queue times would be horrendous whilst doing those. So you've got obviously open world bosses that you can group up with another load of players to do, which spawn on the servers at certain times that everyone teams up to take down for like loads of legendaries and stuff like that.
Oh, just give me 2 seconds. Can you hear me still?
Yeah. Yeah, I can.
I just
You
sorted out my
get a
software.
server announcement. You get an announcement
Right,
on the server that they're going to be spawning and to go to a certain location.
So do you see, because I didn't get to any point where I could see other players walking around the world.
It really starts when you get to the first main city.
Right.
You'll definitely see other players in the city running around because it's got their level and their titles and whatnot.
Oh, okay.
Underneath them.
Right, I
but
didn't
yeah,
get far enough then. Oh, okay.
When
So, because like I was thinking to myself, how does the multiplayer work? Because I hadn't seen anyone else running around. I couldn't figure out how to invite friends in or anything like that. So I was a bit confused as to how it works. So it's kind of like an MMO in a weird way, then.
Yes, so it's basically an MMO light, I'd like to
Yeah,
call it. The game requires an always online connection to play.
yeah,
Sort of unfortunately, but with all the features and stuff they've got with it, it's understandable why they do that. Plus, they can obviously combat cheating and stuff going on where it's detected, etc. But that also means you've got to log into the game, and we all remember the day the beta went live that there was some issues on day one of people logging in and getting stuck in 2-hour queues, etc.
yeah.
That extended into the open beta. Not too sure if it was as bad. I did try logging in around about 7 o'clock on the Friday night just to see what it was like, and I think I was in like a 90-minute queue, and I was like, nah, you're all right. And then sort of came out. Then I went back in later on in the evening, about 8 o'clock. I think it was like a 17-minute wait. Got into the game, played it for about 10 minutes, and it server crashed.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was like, no, that'll do. I'll come out. But when I played it yesterday morning for about half an hour, and then today I haven't really had any issues with it either. So
Yeah, it's yeah, so when I played the closed beta, I was in an hour and a half queue, and I just left my PC on while I did other things to get into the game. But then once I was in, I was okay. But I was reading a lot of people annoyed because they were getting into the game after queuing up for ages, and then it would crash, and then they'd have to queue again. So I'm
I
hoping
mean,
those issues are rectified for the full release.
it won't. I guarantee you they won't. You know what every MMO's like.
Yeah, I
People
know,
people will
mate.
be
Yeah,
queuing for ages. The other thing I'd like to praise with the game is the sort of character creation thing's reasonably decent as well. I think
yeah. There is a lot of options there. I think. Yeah.
there's apparently less options than Diablo Immortal.
Oh, okay.
But that's probably because they can sell us more in a battle pass or via microtransactions or something. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, it now puts your character into a lot of the cutscenes and stuff that play out in the game,
Yeah.
rather than it just sort of being like the cinematic. Like you get the cinematic when you first come into the game, the original announcement one,
Yeah. Okay.
etc.
I
But
mean, the thing I like about it, right, is they don't seem to milk Diablo because it's been 10 years since Diablo 3. And I think that's a really good gap between games. I played Diablo 3 a hell of a lot as
mm,
well. So yeah, I am looking forward to this because I know it's going to be looked after for a long time. It's going to, have a lot of updates. And as I say, the gameplay and the graphics from what I played are really, really good. So, yeah, I'm impressed.
it's definitely gonna have legs, and it'll be supported and that for
Yeah,
a while. It's like I say, the
yeah,
only worries I've got is the battle pass implementation and how it goes from that, and like the typical sort of FOMO kind of stuff that you get associated with those.
yeah. I know. Yeah, I know what you mean.
And then there's people talking about the end game dungeon stuff as well, like how repetitive is it going to be, etc. Because I don't know if you remember from previous Diablos, I think everything was kind of leveled in the different areas, whereas in this, everything kind of levels with you.
Gales. Yeah, yeah,
So when you're going into some of these procedurally generated dungeons, they're always, the mobs in them are generally always your level, or maybe one level lower than you if you level up while you're playing through the dungeon, etc.
I'll be interested to
So
see
that,
how it is. Yeah, for
mm.
sure. Yeah,
But again, this is why they do things like this literally over 2.5 months before the game comes out, because it gives them plenty of time to iron a lot of this stuff out.
yeah, for sure.
Like there's some serious class balance. I've actually heard out of the two new classes that were released, Druid is apparently horrendous.
Oh,
Like it's really underpowered apparently, and has like the lowest survivability of any class.
because I did the class with the bow and arrow and the two little sword things. Is
Oh, the
that Rogue?
Ranger. That's actually Rogue or Ranger or whatever it is. That's apparently supposed to be really good. In
Yeah, I
fact,
enjoyed it. Yeah, really
yeah,
good.
that one and the Wizard from the initial lot were like people rated really highly.
It's weird because the way you
So,
unlock your skills is you don't have access to the bow and arrow and your dual swords at straight away. You have to unlock the ability for one or the other, like as you
mm.
go, which was already a bit weird, but
But yeah,
yeah,
one of
it's
the other
good.
things they've kind of added is as you do things around the different zones that you're in, you earn renown for those zones. The higher your renown, the sort of more rewards you can buy off certain vendors in
Right.
cities. And also you'll get unlocks as well across all your characters
Oh, that's
uh,
cool.
for that. Like, so when you raise your renown reasonably high in sort of like the first main area, you'll unlock like an extra healing potion that you can carry with you.
Oh, that's good.
A bit similar to like the statues that you find that will increase all of your character's stats sort of while
Okay.
they're in those areas
Very nice.
and such. So I mean, for games like this, it's all about the replayability and the amount of people want to put into like min max their builds and stuff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like for every sort of like bolo out there, there's like someone else who just plays the game for a little while and puts it down.
Yeah, that'll be me.
Whereas, yeah, like, oh, I went through the story and everything. I'll come back to it when they release another update or whatnot. But you'll have other people out there that are like, no, I want to grind everything out of this that I can. I want to know how to
Yeah.
get the best damage out, what the best skills are,
Yeah.
how to eviscerate things as fast as possible.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, it shows a lot of promise, hell of a lot of promise. I was very impressed with what I played. It was better than I thought it was going to be.
Cool. All right, I'm going to move on then because I
Yep.
know Elliot's on a bit of a time limit because he's got to go to work soon. So um, I'm gonna do two game. Well, actually, I'm gonna do a couple. Yeah. So keeping on Diablo, I bought Diablo 2 remaster last week because it was on sale. And it was quite interesting playing Diablo 2 remaster and then the Diablo 4 beta because it gives a really good insight into how much has improved just with the graphics and the gameplay. It's
Yeah.
improved a lot, like the graphics especially. I mean, even like I know they've remastered, but it still looks very old school, quite janky in some ways, and not a lot of. And you have to really figure out where to fucking go as well, which is a little bit frustrating. Not played it
Old
loads,
school.
but playing as a paladin, really, it's one of my favorite classes in the Diablo games. So, um, yeah, it's fun from what I've played so far. Uh, yeah, but the
It'd be
sequel
interesting
looks
to
good.
see what
Yeah,
classes they do add to Diablo 4 later down the line, because
yeah,
I think there was about 6 classes available in Diablo 3, wasn't there off the bat?
yeah.
I
They've
know
added a lot
Paladin
more,
came
haven't they?
later,
Yeah,
or was it Crusader? I can't remember what they called
Crusader. It
it.
was Crusader. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, because I had about three different characters on Diablo 3. I fucking love that game. So good.
And
Eh,
Shaman as well was one, wasn't it? Running around with
Yeah,
his little fetish dolls and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. So yeah, so we talked about that. Been playing quite a lot of Sea of Thieves this past week. Played with Frosty, Rooski, my boy. So basically, I think I mentioned it the other week. So I've got the Series S. I bring the Series S and his little monitor downstairs, and we've been doing some sailing together. Me and my boy doing like 2 or 3 hour sailing sessions, which has been really really fun. So been enjoying that. I did a really good session yesterday, which was really good. So yeah, Sea of Thieves is still fucking awesome. Um, and I just wanted to mention as well, the Xbox sale's been really really good because I've used all my Bing points up now, which is great. So I can go and earn some more. picked up Sonic Frontiers in the Xbox sale. Like the
Nice.
Ultimate Edition was £35. The game's only been out a few months. It come out like the tail end of last year, like November last year, so it's not very old at all.
Yeah, it was just around the same sort of time as God of War.
Did you grab the free Monster Hunter World and Christmas DLCs?
I think I might have done. Yeah.
Yeah, you can run around with a Santa hat on.
Nice.
Or
Yeah.
I'm not like a set of armor.
Nice. I'm loving Sonic Frontiers. It's a lot better than the Switch version, I'll say that. It actually runs at a nice frame rate on the Series X and looks good. So give it that. I'm still in the first area, just literally just doing everything, like doing all the puzzles, opening all the map before I do the boss to move on to the next area. I like it because he's in like some sort of like computer simulation world. It has like these areas you go to do like the old school kind of Sonic courses, and then you like get star what's it called? You get these like key things depending on like these challenges you got to do. You got to beat it in a certain amount of time, get all the collectibles and all that and that sort of stuff. So you do that, and then the open world itself is fucking massive with loads of loads of enemies, loads of puzzles. It's just really really fun. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it, and it's just one of those games that I can play with my kids around as well because I enjoy watching me play it. Unlike my other games like Resident Evil and stuff like that, I have to wait until they're in bed. So
What about Diablo? Do you play that around the kids?
I was playing it earlier today, and the kids were around, and then my missus was like, probably not the wisest.
I was going to say, because you can like hew people in half and stuff on that.
Yeah. So then I turned it off quite quickly. But yeah, Sonic Frontier. I mean, like the Xbox sale has been really, really good, especially if you're one of those people that collects Bing points. It's the perfect time to actually spend them. When games are on sale, and Sonic's a game that I've been keeping my eye on the Xbox for a while anyway. Just because the Switch version just sucks ass. So yeah. And has anyone else got any other games I want to talk about? Because I've only got one more, which I'll talk about after.
I got two I can very briefly rip through.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, technically it's three, but I'll blow through the first two very quickly. So Last of Us Part 1, I mentioned last time I was on because I was playing sort of in line with the show.
Yeah.
So obviously the show finished. Oh shit! Was it 2 weeks ago now? The show finished 2 weeks ago. So I finished. I finished the game, Last of Us Part 1. They did a really good job with the remaster. It looks very nice. The show as well was fantastic. Episode 9 was a particular highlight, I thought, which, in that game section in the game is very fun to play as well. So, of course, as soon as I rolled off of Part 1, I rolled into Part 2. So I'm about halfway into Last of Us Part 2. And I'm playing it on New Game Plus, because obviously I played it 3 years ago when it came out. So I've got all my guns and all my upgrades, so it has made it a little easier. No, I'm enjoying myself. I don't know, it's Last of Us. It's good. I think I have more of an appreciation for the story this time around because I've seen the show now and just recently replayed the first game. I hope they do a third one. That'd be good. Be a good trilogy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think the way they left it, where everyone's like miserable and desolate, kind of just suits everything like down to the ground with a second game. To be honest.
Yeah, I don't know. There's room to do other things. I think for a third game, you got other characters to explore.
Yeah, I was going to say just go off onto completely different people, just set within that world. Like there's rumours that they're doing a factions free to play multiplayer thing, aren't there? So
I think that's because that was in the original
people in that
game. That was in the original Last of Us, the first one,
which is weird because Yeah, like there were people, I remember listening to certain podcasts back then when it came out, and there were people who hated like playing games online with other people,
Yeah.
who really liked factions though. They got
Yeah,
like
well, they're
right into
supposedly
it.
bringing factions out again, so yeah, no.
It'll probably
That'd
be
be-
announced during their event this
Yeah.
year, I'd imagine, to sort of capitalise on all of the hype surrounding like the franchise, I guess.
Yeah. Should I rip through my other game?
Yeah, go
It's my
for it,
last.
mate. Yeah, go
All
for
right.
it.
So I thought I might, after finishing Hogwarts Legacy, I decided I needed a bit more magic in my life. So I booted up Lego Harry Potter the collection.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
I'm playing through Philosopher's Stone. So I played through it like 10, 15 years ago, whatever the first one came out. I played it on the 360. It was the first ever game I 1000G'd, which was a little
Ooh.
fun. I don't know if I'll do that again. I'm playing it on PlayStation. It was one of the PS Plus monthly games, maybe like 2 months ago. But it's a Lego game. I mean, if you haven't played one, you do some puzzles. You do a little combat. You unlock different characters and different spells. It's just fun. I don't know. I just boot it up every now and then. It's just a good little title. I like the Lego games. They're quite well done.
Oh
Yeah, they
yeah,
are.
yeah. Like,
Yeah.
always were. I remember like Lego Star Wars and Lego Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
I
No, I
did
like
actually
Lego
kind of
Indiana.
prefer them though when the characters didn't speak. They used to
Yeah,
just
so
like,
Lego Harry Potter, they don't speak
oh,
because it's that same, like they mumble or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't start talking until it might
one
have
of the
been like
Star Wars ones, wasn't it?
I thought it was Lego Marvel, but now I think it might have been Star Wars episode, like the Clone Wars. I think you might be right. One of those. That's me. That's all my games.
Fair dues, mate. Fair dues. Darren, anything else?
I did hop on Vermintide 2 for a little bit the other day because they apparently had like a 3 times XP event going on there. So I jumped on there and leveled my archer elf up to sort of like level 32, I think it was, or 31.
Nice.
So they're still doing stuff on that game. I think it was like celebrating the 3 or 5 year anniversary of it or something.
Okay.
There still seems to be quite a few people playing it as well. If you sort of like jump into online games
Yeah.
and stuff, but yeah,
Nice. Okay. Is that it from you?
yeah, pretty much. Yeah, apart from like my usual daily games.
Yeah. Sweet. I actually resubbed to Final Fantasy 14 yesterday, so need to get on that again.
You're gonna love
yeah.
the Hildebrand quest.
I've heard it's good.
It's fantastic.
So I resubbed, I had to re-download it, and then I was like, I don't have any time now. So I didn't take that
How
long.
big is it?
I think it's about 80 gig or something. So
I must admit, yeah, there's a few games out there where the file sizes on them are just like, oh my god. And then you look at like something like Final Fantasy on like PS5 and it's like 60, 70 gig, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, I know.
That's
And I
like
keep
an
on adding
entire
stuff.
main game, and like I don't know, X amount of expansions, X amount of patches. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy. The last game I played, I downloaded it on the PS5 today. It's only just come out, called Tchia. Tchia. I don't know how the fuck you say it. Anyway, it's really good actually. I was playing it with Marcus today. It's only one player, but I was just watching him and then sharing the controllers and helping him out and stuff. It's really it's quite like the beginning is quite slow because it's about these islands near New Zealand and like the people there and all that sort of stuff. But it feels and looks very Zelda Breath of the Wild, like has a really nice art style and it has all the Breath of the Wild stuff. Like you get a boat and you can explore the world and it's fucking huge and some of it's quite dense as well. and you get a glider, and you can jump off things and glide and climb, your walls, and you get like the stamina meter come up. So it's all about the exploration, but it's got like this thing where she has this power where she can move her soul into objects and animals, and they all do different things. So you could go into like a shark or a bird or something like that. But
that sounds incredibly dangerous, like in reality.
Yeah, but you control them then, you see, right? So it makes like for certain gameplay mechanics which are quite cool, but also you can, like, one of the first things, like the first thing you put your soul into when you've learnt it is a coconut, and you're thinking to yourself, why the fuck am I putting my soul in a coconut? And basically you put your soul into the coconut, that means you can just fire it really far and really hard and injure people with it. So yeah, I mean, it's really fascinating, to be honest, that the whole thing. So it's only out on PlayStation and PC, so it's a PlayStation exclusive in that essence, but it's also on PlayStation Plus. So if you've got PS Plus, you don't actually have to pay for it any extra.
Is this like the standard plus, or is it the essential, or whatever it is?
I think you need the Uber edition of PlayStation Plus, actually.
Right, that would make sense. Like the one you got straight for free on, etc.
Yeah. But one thing I will say about it is, like, it's quite artsy fartsy in a way. Like, it has like songs that go on for about 3 or 4 minutes, and you've got to partake in them. But the music's really good. It's all about learning about these islands. Their kind of customs and all that sort of stuff. It's really interesting. I was really getting into it, to be honest. You just got to be quite patient. Just don't expect to get, into the action straight away. Like the beginning of the game is very much setting it up, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really, really good. Yeah, Tag in the Discord mentioned it, and I thought, oh yeah, I'll give it a bosh. And yeah, it's definitely one you should check out especially if you've got PlayStation Plus. I'm not actually sure how much it is. It might be about 20 quid or something like that, I think. Yeah, it's a really, really interesting game, and one that people should definitely check out.
It's about New Caledonia, right?
Afterwards.
Yeah, New Caledonia.
Yeah, I've added it to my. I've got a cheap like PS Extra sub for the rest of the year, so I'll download that.
Nice. Yeah, it's it's. I'm surprised how big the map is. I mean, I've only just scratched the surface with Marcus because we're very early into the game. There's so much exploration to do, underwater as well. So, it's huge. I watched some video reviews where one of the reviews said they think the world's actually a bit too big. Which is quite interesting. But there's a lot of really cool story beats and exploration going on, and as I say, the music is fantastic, and the art is really, really nice as well. So,
and it's obviously something you can play around your kids.
Again, 100%, and you're learning as well. Learning as you're playing, so yeah, it's good. So I just wanted to give that game a shout out. I mean, I've not played it like maybe an hour or two today. Yeah, it's good. Very good first impressions for sure. That's all I played.
We've crammed quite a bit into a week or two.
Well, it's a couple of weeks, really, isn't it? Because now we're not really talking about games played every week anymore, are we? So, yeah, it's all good. News-wise, I haven't actually picked up much news this week. The only bits I kind of saw were about this bloody Microsoft buying Activision again, and Sony are been, in my opinion, a bit knobbish about it. They really want it to.
The CMA cleared it. Did you see that?
Yeah,
that was yesterday or the day before, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So that's the odds of it going through have gone up for sure.
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
it's just the FTC in the US is like the only one now.
Yeah,
I think that's the only
so I
area.
mean, because Sony have turned down this 10-year deal with Call of Duty, haven't they? So it'd be interesting to see what happens to Call of Duty now, because there's going to be no
I wouldn't say they've
there's no
fully burnt the
contract
bridges,
signed.
but they've definitely
Yeah,
knocked out a few of the planks.
yeah, 100% that they have. Yeah. So yeah, it's going to be certainly very interesting to see what happens with Microsoft and Sony going forward with some of these games. Yeah, because Sony have been very aggressive against it, even though it's come out about all their business practices about, third party exclusives and stuff like that.
Oh,
So
yeah, Final Fantasy VII Remake still not on Xbox.
no,
Yeah. So yeah, I think that Microsoft have just like brought some of the bullshit to light, and they're like, look at the hypocrisy. Look at them. They don't stick to their word.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah. I'll be honest. Sony are not coming across well off in this deal.
No, I don't
They're
think
just
so.
refusing to like hand over paperwork and disclose things, and then like making like false accusatory statements that are immediately just like destroyed by Xbox. I think this deal's going through whether they like it or not, and I think they just kind of have to like take the concessions and sign some sort of agreement with Microsoft. Microsoft sign agreements with everyone. They've signed with Nintendo. They've signed with Nvidia.
Yeah.
Fuck, just get on board, Sony. Stop being twats. Thank you.
My thoughts exactly. That is literally all the news I've found. I think it's been a bit of a slow news week, to be honest, from what I've seen.
Well, there was a little bit of news, wasn't there, about the upcoming game from Arcane. What's it called again?
Redfall.
Redfall, yes, where the developers have actually addressed the concerns from people about the game requiring an always online connection, and they're working to remedy that.
Yeah, they're stripping it out. They're going to make it so you can play it offline.
Nice.
I'm kind of really looking forward to that quite a bit, actually. The more I see of it, I think it's going to be good fun.
It's not coming to PlayStation, is it?
No, it's
I did see some moaning on Twitter this week about apparently the game was originally supposed to be coming out on PlayStation as well as the other systems.
It was, yeah.
So supposedly it was in development for PlayStation, but it was never announced. It had by the time it was announced, it was always Xbox and PC.
Right.
But it was in development for PlayStation before Xbox acquired Arcane and Bethesda.
Right.
Whereas
it was never
already done and completed almost, wasn't it? By that point.
Yeah. That's why they let Deathloop go on PlayStation first, even though they'd acquired them.
Same with Ghostwire Tokyo. Is that actually out now?
I think that's this week.
Or is it April?
It's April.
Or is it next month?
It's April.
I mean, that I'm actually looking forward to, because they're releasing like a free update for it as well on the PlayStation because they're adding stuff to the one that's coming out.
They did the exact same thing. They did the exact same thing with Deathloop when it came to Game Pass. They added a whole bunch of stuff.
Nice.
Yeah,
so that'd be a cool reason to go back to my Game of the Year last year.
Nice.
I haven't played it. I was going to play the 3-hour trial on PS Plus, and then I saw it's coming to Game Pass next month, and I was like, you know what? I'll just wait.
Yeah. Nice.
Yes. Just a really cool atmospheric game.
Yeah. Did any of you guys try out Wo Long on Game Pass?
No, it's another one on the list I'll get.
No, I've got it on PlayStation, but I haven't played it yet.
I have a nickname for it.
Oh, Bolo finished it. He said it was good.
Wo Long Wank.
What?
I don't like it, mate. Shit.
I don't get why you don't like it, because you like Demon Souls. You like
the graphics is shit, the gameplay is shit, and that first boss is a cunt. Enough said.
From what I've heard, the first boss is one of the hardest bosses in the game.
Yeah, well, what the fucking stupid game design is that? You know what I mean?
Once you beat the first boss, then you can beat every boss. Isn't that the idea?
That's ridiculous, mate. Fucking ridiculous.
I'll give it a go and give my informed opinion.
Well, you won't like it either, mate. I guarantee it.
I didn't play Sekiro, so I guess we'll see. I'll have to play Sekiro at some point.
Yeah.
Right on the Series X though, if you're trying it through the Game Pass, because apparently that version was better. I don't know whether they've improved the PC one, but there were issues with it, hence why it was getting quite negative reviews on release for the PC.
Fair enough. I mean, I'll just I won't go back to it. Deleted it, mate.
It's just one of those things where, like I say, you played it, you got kind of annoyed with it, and you've got other games there that you want to play.
Fucking loads of games, mate. Sometimes. My backlog keeps on growing. Keep buying games like a fucking crazy person.
Oh, there's just more shit coming out all the way. I mean, obviously, the same month Diablo 4's out, Final Fantasy 16's out. They've apparently released footage of that recently, but I'm just trying to avoid everything now until like the final trailer on release.
Yeah, I'm avoiding all of it, mate, because I'll see some bits come up on the socials and that, and I'm just like, no, I'm not looking at it. I just want to go in fresh, to be honest. So yeah, that's just how I am with it, because I know I know I'm gonna like it, so I might as well just avoid all the bullshit.
We should start seeing some reviews of Dead Island 2 soon as well. That's out.
Oh yeah, that's next month.
Fucking hell. Fuck's
sake.
This
year is stacked for games.
It's fucking weird,
that was
like, because
through COVID.
It's been shit the last few years.
Well, it's mad because like we got Game Pass, but all the games I want to play are the ones that you have to fucking buy. Crazy.
Obviously, I'm going to go work in a bit, but I want to articulate something. I think it's a very good sign for the year when I already have 2 or 3 games in my head competing for Game of the Year. Whereas last year, for me, Elden Ring was Game of the Year the whole way through from like March to the end of the year. Because that shows how shit last year was, that I had one game at the start of the year and it stuck with me the whole way. Because there wasn't enough competition. There wasn't enough games fighting for that spot. Whereas this year, I'm like, fuck, Resident Evil and Hogwarts, both fantastic. Don't know which one's at the top yet. They're both great. And then Spider-Man, Alan Wake, Starfield. Fuck me. My top 5 is going to be stacked. Oh, my gosh. It's going to be a good year. It's going to be a very good year.
Yeah, mate. It's good.
Yeah, I got no other news. If anyone got any
I've
other
got
news.
fuck all, mate.
No. Time for work.
I've got a couple of questions, though.
Oh, yeah. Let's do those.
I've actually started asking on Facebook again because the Discord people are becoming very rubbish at replying these days. Just
They're
give me a
busy
second.
playing all the good games that are out at the moment that people are trying to.
Yeah, people are too busy gaming to reply.
So, Steffi Business asks, is Resident Evil 4 the most overrated game in history, yes or no?
Shut up. Next. Skip.
Well, no, I can't say that. I think it's amazing. I wouldn't say it's the best game ever made. It's probably the game that made me fall back in love with Resident Evil as a franchise.
Okay.
But I can see again why people would get kind of annoyed with it or not particularly like that style.
Yeah.
There's been quite a few games over the years that have changed kind of how they play, and not everyone's a fan. God of War is an example as well. God of War. Yeah. Assassin's Creed, there's a lot of people who prefer the old Assassin's Creeds to the new sort of open RPG styled version of it.
They'll be happy because Mirage is the old style. So
whenever that appears, like that's
I don't know, man.
Is that Schrodinger's cat? Like they literally showed us the game and then nothing, just silence, and they announced you can pre-order it.
I have it pre-ordered. I have it pre-ordered.
Is there even a release date yet?
Nah.
Have we seen anything outside that opening cinematic trailer thing?
Nope. I'd put a bet on about September, October would be my guess, but I really don't know. Anyway, no, Resident Evil 4 is awesome. I didn't play the original, so I can't really speak to its historic status, but the new one's good. So, yes.
I mean, if people didn't like the way the old one controlled because of the rooted targeting system, try the demo the chainsaw demo, and you'll see kind of how he moves and stuff now. It's different. Definitely improved on the movement, etc.
Cool. And the only other question is from Tom Harding, but he asked, how's the Diablo 4 beta? But we've already talked about that, so don't want to go.
When you get in, it's great.
Yeah.
It's thoroughly enjoyable, and you can see it's... even if it hasn't got the staying power, it's something that you're still going to enjoy going through, I believe.
Yeah. Cool. That's all the questions. So I think, guessing we should end it here. Just been on 2 hours, guys. So yes, perfect timing.
Yeah.
So
8 more hours.
Yeah. So from me, Mark Webb, Gamertag, Piston D, Steam ID, Webby, 360G.
And from your resident Steam Deck owner, Sly Armand.
And Sensei Switch.
So thank you very much. Don't forget to log in next week where for the patrons, where we're going to be doing well, we haven't actually decided, have we, Darren, if we're going to go Nintendo or Sega?
Or were we doing the PSP and the Vita?
Oh yes, PSP and Vita first, and then we need to decide if we're doing Nintendo or Sega after that. Yes.
I mean, Sega, I can go right back, even like original Master System. Not that I played a lot of it, but I've played some of it.
I love the Master System. It was fucking awesome.
Try and get Stunty on for that.
Yeah, sweet. All right, so yeah, it is PSP/Vita next week. Yes, you have reminded me, so check that out. Anyway, from all of us here, it's been awesome. We will see you next week. Goodbye.